I'm ready to dig out some stamps and do a little bit of art journaling. Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I am working in my kind of art journal. We're just going to call this memory journal, a mixed media journal. We have fun in this journal doing all the different things. So that's what we're going to do today, and I am ready to fill in. Oh my goodness, it is the last page of this journal. And I'm pretty excited about it. So I wonder why I put this little piece here. We might tear this off. We might see what we can do here. But I wanted to play with some stamps, which is what we are going to do today. I have a couple sets from Illustrated Faith. I'm not sure if these are still in stock, but I do want to encourage you to dig into your stamp stash and find some fun stamps to play with. I will link everything that I use down in the description box below. But otherwise, let's put you guys on fast forward. Let's spend a little time getting creative. All right, here were the decisions that I made in advance of starting this particular art journal entry. First, I wanted to use these hexagon stamps. I found them when I was cleaning out my stamp organization recently, and I was just dying to use them again. So had them pulled out, knew I wanted to use them, and then also knew that I was in the mood for some bright colors because I filmed this on a Monday, and it was a very Monday-y-ish Monday. It was just, there was a lot. It was rainy and gray outside, and I needed some bright color in my life. So I'm starting by building these hexagons. I did not want it to be too uniform, which can be difficult when you are working with a pattern like this. So what I did was plan to kind of break it up, plan to have some negative space so that it would not be solid hexagons all the way across the page, but kind of used sparingly as it started to reach across the page. I did run into some issues as I was getting to the center, to that kind of gutter area when the pages meet. The way I worked around that, you'll see here in a second, is by actually taking the stamp off the block. So here I am figuring out, okay, that's not going to work. I'm very carefully take the stamp off the block. This allows it to be more bendy. Yes, my fingers do get a little inky when I do things like this, but no, it doesn't really bother me because you wash your hands, they get clean, all is well. But that allowed me to go over that kind of break in the page. Then I just kept working all the way across, like I said, kind of keeping little pockets of white space, not knowing exactly what I would be doing. But I had in mind that I would also use an additional stamp set that I had come across that was some beautiful alpha stamps. I say it over and over and over again. If you're going to invest in acrylic stamps, alpha stamps are a great place to start because you can use them over and over again. I like basic stamp sets. I love the shapes. I love the alphas, ones that you can use in lots of different ways. I think that is the best investment for your craft studio. Certainly there are some fabulous, really specialized stamp sets with sentiments and things like that, but ones that you can use over and over again, I'm all about. All right. The stickers that I'm grabbing right here are actually PET tape stickers from Wrong Devo. These have a tropical feel. Like I said, the idea was going to be to go with bright colors, so I went and stood in front of my wall of washi that I have in my room and just kind of looked around to see what my eyes were attracted to. These bright color florals were it. I love the PET tapes from Wrong because they are cut individually, which makes them work just like stickers. And then also the fact that they are matte. I think that lends itself to art journaling really nicely. When stickers are really shiny, they tend to jump off the page a little too much, in my opinion. They don't kind of blend in. The sheen is just too different, and I don't like what it looks like when there is kind of that bright look to the page. So the fact that Wrong PET tapes are a matte finish gives them a different quality, which I like to use both in my planner and in my art journaling. So I'm working my way around the page. You can see I'm kind of creating a border within those negative spaces. Yes, it does cover up the hexagons at times, but the plan is to work around that here in a minute. Let's just make sure we're getting those on the edge. Once I get all of the florals in place, then I also grab for another PET tape. You'll see that one come in later, the Wanderlust PET tape. That is going to give me some images, ta-da, of these beautiful women from around the world. I chose the safari one. I thought she looked gorgeous. And then I chose some that had a very tropical feel. And we're going to put them in the negative space here. So we're going to build around the different hexagons. This one, I'm trying to make sure I pull up some of the stick with my fingers. We're going to put her over there. Yes, she's in front of the hexagons. We will fix that momentarily. And then I'm able to find another one where she is living her best life in her bathing suit. We're going to stick her right here, a little bit of a different size. Doesn't bother me. I still think it's going to go really well. It's kind of picking up vacation vibes at this point. And considering it is dark and gray and a little bit cold outside, I am here for the tropical vacation vibe. So why not live my best life in my art journal? All right, like I said, I was going to take care of the fact that some of these were covering up the hexagons, and I'm using my craft knife for this. This is a Fisker's craft knife, and I'm just very carefully going over where they overlap the hexagons and cutting that section out because I wanted the hexagons to be in the foreground and everything else to be in the background, which would have been hard to do with just stamping. So I'm very carefully going through cutting. Obviously, I have sped this up a great deal. One of the ways I made sure to not tear the paper, you saw me doing it, I take the sticker and I put my hands on the back of it. It kind of gets a little bit of the oil of your fingers on the sticker, makes it slightly less sticky, not so unsticky that it's not going to stick to the paper at all, but it does lift pretty well, which if you know you're going to be picking part of it up anyway is a great little technique to have in your back pocket. All right, like I said, alpha stamps are a great way to go for stamping. I grabbed this set Heart Tune Alpha from Illustrated Faith. I'm trying to plan out what I could write. All I could think was tropical and the word vibes. So we're going to go with tropical vibes because that is what all these girls are giving. That's what these florals are giving. And that's what this art journal entry is going to be giving. So I'm going to pull out a smaller stamp block to make sure that it is sized correctly for putting in all of these stamps in these tiny hexagons. And then we're just going to build across. It almost felt a little bit like Scrabble. Like I'm just filling in all these little hexagons one by one with this fun alpha. I love that each of these different alphas is a different font. I think that is a very cool touch to any project, and it was so fun to play with stamps. It is so interesting to me how sometimes you just forget about supplies you love. I have a ton of stamp sets and I've used them for a long time in different parts of my crafting, but every now and then I kind of drift away from them. I don't grab for them as often. Cleaning out my stamp sets this month as I've worked through organization with my Patreon community has been so great because I've seen the ones that I still have. I've seen the ones that I've loved and it makes me want to use them again. So I was super excited to pull out stamps and use them kind of as the basis to build my art journal page with. There's so many ways to use stamps in art journaling. I love stamping in different colors. I love blending. There's lots of new opportunities to kind of change stamps and use them for in different ways in your art journaling, in your planning, in your card making, all the different things. Speaking of craft supplies that I have not used in a long time, these are called Distress crayons. They are part of the Distress line designed by Tim Holtz for Ranger Ink, and they are a water soluble crayon, meaning they are water reactive, and you color them just like you would a crayon. And then once you add water to it, it kind of turns it into more of a watercolor feel. It'll blend, it'll run, and that's what I wanted to use on this page. The journal that I'm using is actually from 49 and Market. I've been using it all year for some different types of journaling throughout. So the reason I love this is because the paper is actually pretty thick. I didn't even have to put the two pages together to make it thick enough. It held up really nicely to this mixed media. So I'm coming through. I wanted the tropical look, the different colors, and so I'm using a water brush right here. That is a paintbrush that has the water in the barrel. I'm using that to react the Distress crayon and kind of blend it coming out of where all of these words are loving the rainbow look, loving that it fits the whole tropical feel of the page, and I'm loving getting to use yet another supply that I had kind of forgotten about, that I had kind of taken a break from. And it's always great to just reconnect with some of those favorite supplies as you are going through and organizing and destashing and things like that. Sometimes you see a supply and you're ready to let go. Sometimes you see it and you're like, oh man, I forgot how much I love that one. Time to pull it out again. And that is certainly what happened with these distress crowns. I think they're so fun to work with. There probably are a lot more colors than what I have because I haven't collected them in a while. I would imagine that most of the distress inks or the distress line are represented through distress crayons as well. And I just love that they blend. Now, they're a little bit different than some of the other water soluble crayons in that these will continue to react over and over again. As long as there is a little bit of wax, you're going to see that continue to blend. Other ones that once they react once, then that's it and they're done and they're permanent. And these will continue to react over and over again. All right, played with the distress crayons. Now it's time to play with my Prismacolor colored pencils. These are not a forgotten supply. I love my Prismacolor colored pencils and have used them over and over again for years and years. One of the best investments I ever made in my craft studio when I started Bible journaling again was to buy a really nice set of colored pencils. I've obviously sped this up a whole lot, but I just worked my way across the page, adding color here and there. Let me throw on some music as you kind of watch me create almost a gradient feel, not exactly, but we're just going to go from one color to the next, kind of mixing and matching, working the way across the page. Now there are a few directions that I could take it from here. I decided to go ahead and add a few more stickers here and there just for fun. I could add journaling lines in some of the negative space that's still available. I could add just a tip in for journaling. I just wanted to play with some stickers. The brightness was awesome. I am loving how this spread came out and I'm so excited that I already filled up one of these little 49 and Market journals. I cannot wait to add to it in the next quarter of the year and just keep building in this little creative journal. It's just such a great size that I absolutely love it. Now that's going to be it for this art journal entry. If you liked this video, please take a moment, hit that thumbs up, and maybe even consider hitting that subscribe button. It helps me out so much when you guys are able to subscribe to my channel. I will link all of the supplies that I used down in the description box below. Let me know what you think of the art journal entry by leaving a comment down below as well. I want to give a huge shout out to all of my Patreon members. Thank you all so much for being an amazing crafty community. If you're looking for a place to share your creative endeavors, Patreon is the place to do it. You can find a link down below. All right, I hope that you have a fabulous day. And as always, keep it creative.